All right. Hello, Big Timber FFA members. I wanted to do kind of an overview of how to use our record bookkeeping program because I know a lot of people, well, everyone should have their fair animals by now, and people are starting other projects and, of course, have summer jobs and things like that. So, this program called AET is what we use to keep track of our FFA records. AET stands for Agricultural Education Tracker, I think. Agriculture Experience Tracker, actually. But acronyms are tough to remember, so maybe just write that down. The website is theaet.com, theaet.com, and that'll take you here. And then, of course, you hit login to jump in there, and you'll do the student login. So the chapter number is MT0010. It's the same number that we use at competitions. Again, that's another one. You might just write that down so that when you go to log in, you have it and can remember it. Your username and password. If there are some people out there that haven't logged in, and I know there's a couple, your username should be your first initial followed by your last name with the first two letters capitalized. So this is Coulter's login, capital C, capital R, and then lowercase for the rest of your last name. If you haven't ever changed it, your password should be the exact same thing. So if you're first time jumping in there, or maybe you've been in before but never messed with your password, it should be first initial, last name with the first two capitalized. So once you get all that, then you can hit login and it'll take you to the home screen. I'm going to jump in the advisor spot here so I can show you a few other things. Your screen when you first jump in there will look more like this. And I'm going to pick on David Paul because I know he's a freshman and hasn't been in a class where we went over this yet. So his is pretty basic. If you haven't done much, yours will look like this. Everybody has these 4 boxes here: profile, journal, finances, and reports. And then if you hit this AET logo at the top, it'll take you to your home screen. So if you ever get lost, you're clicking buttons and you end up somewhere where you're like, I don't really know what that is, hit that AET button and it'll take you right to the same home screen. Those same tabs are right there too. So hopefully it's easy enough that you don't get lost. The first thing you should do if you haven't been on before, click your profile, and then here you can hit manage and edit your profile. So right here, DP has really nothing filled in, and that's expected if we haven't done it in class. So first thing you can do is fill in all of these areas. You just hit edit, put in that information, hit save, and that'll get you there. These two numbers right here will both be at 100% if you've got all this stuff filled in. So if you get those two at 100, you're good to go there. Next thing you should do, record your class schedule. So this is where you get to put in what ag classes you're in. Pathway up at the top, you have to choose one. And what I'd like you to do is think about what you're interested in. So if you're in kind of the animal side, you'd click animal systems. If you like our shop classes and kind of want to learn more about that stuff, you'd be power systems. You can look at these options and kind of figure out, what do I like doing? What would I consider a career in? Things like that. So maybe DP likes animals. And then we'll add a class. I know this fall he was in woodworking with Mrs. Standley, and there it is. And all you have to do is hit add. So now he's got that class from fall semester, egg woodworking with Mrs. Standley. You can add all the classes for all the time that you've been in high school, and then you're good to go on that one. So going back to profile, there's just a few other things you can do on this page. I'm not going to require a lot of it, but there's some interesting stuff if you wanted. You can build a resume by putting in like your chapter degrees. Green Hand would be the first one that you get. Any competitions you've been to, awards, certifications, and all those things. And then at the end, you just click generate resume and you've got it. And so you can do objectives, references, and all of that. Judging card results it is pretty cool because you can just click right into it, and this is where all of our FFA events are for the state of Montana. If we go back into the AET and check out profile, these are things like offices that you've had if you've been on a committee like the banquet committee or FFA week committee. We'll get into projects in the next video. And then judging card event results, same deal here. You can click like David Paul Athway, and there it is. He went to KMON. You can click on that event and see his scorecard. He got 44th place. Good job on the pigs. DP, I don't think you can call yourself a sheep herder if you get a 25 on wool, but that's okay. We still like you. Again, I click the AET logo to go home, and then the next tab over is journal. Journal is where you put in all of your time. So think about it like a journal entry. Like every time you do something, you go in and you add that entry to your journal. This project manager is there again. And like I said, we'll go over projects and how to set those up in the next video. But you can do classroom activities. So for David Paul. He's not in a class now, but say last fall on October 4th, 2019, he did a course-related activity, and he can say what class it was for, what he did, and he can enter all that stuff. And so he's getting credit basically for the work that he does. You can do the same thing for your projects. We'll get into that in a minute. So if I say I want hours recorded for when you work with your steer, that's where you put that in. Community service, leadership roles, committees, competitions, and all that counts. So hopefully that's kind of a basic overview of how to get in, how to log in, what you should do on your profile. Again, you have to edit your personal information and password, record your class schedule. So pick what ed classes you've been in. And then journal is where you put in any time. So if your time for your SAE projects, time in class, time for all of those things. And I'm not going to be really picky if you don't include every hour of every single day that you've ever been in ed class. But if you've done kind of a cool skill, that's a nice place to include something like that. One other area on profile I'll show you, something we use in class sometimes, is this explore your interests. And if you click that link, it'll take you to this page, and it'll let you look at a gajillion different careers. And so maybe there's a job out there that you didn't think about, but you're kind of interested in, and because of this website, you find that and decide, I'm going to do an SAE based on that, or I'll take an ed class that kind of relates to that. So that's another option out there for you. This is a really quick and dirty overview. If you have questions about anything, log in, especially sometimes that username password gets people, or if you have a sibling, it won't work. If you have questions, of course, email me, email Mrs. Stanley. We're here to help. Or on the side, there's a button that says student help, and it has videos about all of this stuff. So this is the first place I would go, if you want to know about your SAEs or how to put in your journal entries or use the resume feature or any of that. You can click on that student help button. Or if it's something where you don't know, or maybe even I don't know, you can ask AET a question, and it'll basically send an email to the AET staff, and they're really good about getting back and helping you out. So with that in mind, I hope everyone gets one set up. Of course, they're required for you to do FAIR projects, and it's kind of a foundation for your awards and future applications in FFA as well.